that they have on our domestic tax systems. Because at the same time that they tell us you need to increase your revenue to this extent, they also tell us you need to attract a certain level of private investment into your country. You need to make your country more viable for investors to come. And what does that translate to? It translates into tax breaks for multinational corporations and for wealthy people. So they don't really also care about the fairness and how it affects the ordinary people of that country. That's also the kind of influence that they exact. On the spending side, I think we've also talked about how they influence cutting costs, especially for some sectors which are very important for ordinary citizens. So this is like health, and this is like education.
Why? Why are they specific on
that? Okay, so one of the ways, and I know you touched on it a little, one of the ways that they think that governments are wasteful is through recurrent expenditure. The bulk of recurrent expenditure is public wages. Some of the sectors where government hires the most people need health and education, our teachers, our nurses, our doctors. So they encourage cutting spending on that, and that's how those areas end up being as hard hit as they are. Venye tu Tom sort of touched on in terms of needing. So that's also the disadvantage of going to borrow from the IMF and the World Bank. I think the other major disadvantage, and I think Kathleen will talk about because me I'm not, is also who calls the shots within the IMF and the World Bank. It's definitely not developing countries, it's not African countries. And so some of these proposals that they come up with and some of the methods that they come up with are not to the benefit of a lot of developing countries. Like sisi peke yetu as Kenya ndo tume-experience hii mambo. Just look at Ghana, look at Zambia. But then the difference between Kenya, Zambia, and Ghana is that unlike Zambia and Ghana, we don't have mineral resources to cushion us. They have mineral resources that they can bargain with. As we have very little, so whenever we feel those fiscal consolidation measures from the IMF tunazisikia direct, it makes sense. Like it becomes harder. And so I think one of the things that developing countries and African countries have been calling for is also that we need to reform the World Bank and the IMF in terms of its governance features. That we need to give African countries and developing countries more rights within those bodies than we currently have, so that we can shift their policies so that they are more pro-developing countries